Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2. I'm out here in my car. I'm actually sitting in a church parking lot because I'm here for an Easter service gig that I have a rehearsal for. And you guys know I'm a musician, and so tonight I'm not in the garage, I'm not home able to make a video on the workbench. But I'm out and about, but I got here early because I tried to beat traffic and all that, so I got like 45 minutes to waste. But while I'm here, I wanted to make a video and potentially start talking about a thing that's been on my mind regarding something I want to talk about on this channel. And it's things that gun owners say that we should no longer say because either they're wrong or they're irrelevant or honestly they're ignorant. And I wanted to make this because in a video I made very recently where I was talking about people's comments and things they thought about me and my channel, I read a comment where somebody had said, all gun laws are unconstitutional. And this is something that I get, I see in the comment section, I get thrown around all the time. And I know it's kind of a bumper sticker talking point. Everyone says, shall not be infringed, and so every gun law is unconstitutional. And when I said that, I disagree with that statement because even the Supreme Court says, any gun law that was on the books when the Second Amendment was ratified is a constitutional law. Because if you want to substantiate a gun law today, you have to show that there was a measure in law that had precedent back at the founding of the country. And there are a few things that we can find where there were gun laws. For example, the example I used in that video was Scalia had talked about it was unlawful to carry dangerous and unusual weapons. That was an accepted practice. And so some of that, of course, trickles down into our, modern laws, and, of course, anti-gunners, blow that way out of proportion. But that was a law that was on the book during the ratification time. And so therefore it would be a constitutional law. But I cited a couple of examples in that video, and I got a little bit of pushback, okay? And I just wanted to clarify my points and kind of open a dialogue for people that may disagree with me, because we're here to have a conversation. I'm not here to belittle anybody, and I don't want to be belittled, right? We can have a dialogue. We can disagree and still be friends, right? And my thesis is that not all gun laws are unconstitutional, and some gun laws, I believe, are based in reason and logic and actually are good. And I wanted to support my idea by giving a couple of examples, okay? And I'm curious what you guys would think, and you guys can tell me in the comments section below. So here's a couple of things I was thinking about, okay? So the first thing I mentioned in that video is laws against carrying firearms in courthouses, okay? And I use the example based off of what we know people can be like and criminals can be like. If it's unconstitutional to ban the carrying of firearms in a courthouse, would you feel safe going to a courthouse? And I said the example I would give is like, you have a gang member on trial, and a person is on the stand being a witness against that other gang member, or it's another gang member or opposing gang member or whatever, but it's unconstitutional to ban people from carrying firearms in there. And even though they have bailiffs and whatever, people can just carry in there, and there's no security, there's no weapons checks or any of that. Would you feel safe being in there? I know that I wouldn't, because most likely people that are members of organized crime or street crime or that kind of stuff are going to have their buddies that don't think rationally. They have no compassion for anybody else. They do not look at life as being sacred or special. Will walk in there, and because it's their constitutional right to carry a gun, and all gun laws are unconstitutional, they would just go in there and potentially assassinate somebody on the witness stand. Would you be okay with that? And if you're okay with that, I want you to defend that in the comments. I would really appreciate it if you did. Another example I said is if all gun laws, I mean, it's a black and white thing. If you say all gun laws are unconstitutional, it means all. It doesn't mean most, right? Now, if these people would say most gun laws are unconstitutional, I probably wouldn't be making this video. But when you say all, it's a very, it's a declaration that every single gun law, every gun law is unconstitutional. That's what all means. So what if every gun law was unconstitutional, which meant that middle schoolers are allowed to openly carry firearms and bring them to school? And even if somebody is a known bully, or if somebody has made a threat against other people, or just maybe somebody's part of feels smited by somebody else, it's their constitutional right, because all gun laws are unconstitutional, to carry, to stop them and say, maybe because of your age, or, you're not of this time in your life where you can make rational and reasonable choices. Maybe we need to not allow you to own a firearm and bring it to school. Maybe that would be reasonable to most people. But if all gun laws are unconstitutional, do you support children being able to openly carry firearms and bring firearms to school? Okay, regardless if it's, and don't get me wrong, I know that there are some kids that live in very, rural areas where they go hunting all the time. They probably got a shotgun in their pickup truck, when they go to high school. And I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about, it has to be for everybody, right? Because all means all. So that means inner cities. It means in your little small town. It means that if you have a son or daughter who's getting picked on in school, that their bully is allowed to bring a firearm to school. So do you believe that all gun laws are unconstitutional? And do you believe that they should all be struck from the books? Now, I also want to clarify my position. I'm pretty much a libertarian, right? But I'm not an anarchist. I believe things like the NFA are unconstitutional, right? We talked about short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns. Why in the world does barrel length have anything to do with law? It doesn't, right? I believe that you should be able to purchase a new fully automatic weapon post 1986. I believe that you should be able to purchase suppressors over the counter, make your own suppressors. They're just firearm accessories, okay? I believe in constitutional carry if otherwise, we have a certain rule set of what defines a law-abiding citizen, right? You're not a felon, you're of a certain age, that kind of thing. I'm for that, right? I am essentially against, universal background checks, gun registries. I'm against all that stuff, okay? But there are some gun laws that I go, that's okay. Another example might be, what if all gun laws are unconstitutional? It means that the use of a firearm in an assault or a burglary would not be an elevated charge, because all gun laws are unconstitutional. So if somebody burglarizes your house with a firearm or assaults you in the street with a firearm, it would hold the same weight as if they came up and kicked you or they punched you, right? I look at it as being very different. I know you can die from a punch, you can die from a kick. You can, feet and hands kill more people than rifles every year. I get that. But on the books, we look at assault with hands and feet, and we adjudicate those differently than assault with a deadly weapon. But if all gun laws are unconstitutional, would you be okay with, if you are assaulted with a firearm, or a family member is assaulted, or somebody breaks into your house and burglarizes you, or does a home invasion with a firearm, that the charges would reflect if they didn't have that, and they would not have as much reason to fear being caught? And I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say, well, criminals don't follow the law. And you're absolutely right. A person that wants to break into your house with a firearm is most likely not going to care, okay? Most of them. However, when it comes to some people, the deterrent of, okay, if I get caught, I'm going to go to jail for a lot longer period of time than it would be if I didn't have the firearm. So it's not going to work in a way that, we're going to stop all a crime, right? We've outlawed murder, but people still get murdered. But it puts a minimal burden on gun owners. So, for example, I have no plans on assaulting anybody with a firearm. I have no plans on burglarizing a house. I have no plans on using my firearm to harm or do anything to anybody else. So having these laws on the books regarding firearms do not infringe upon my right. They don't. But if all gun laws are unconstitutional, how do you rectify that? How could you say it's okay that somebody in your town is supplying known criminals with firearms? So let's just say there's a local gang, okay? Going back to kind of like the street crime thing, okay? You got some juveniles, you got some bad youth in your town, they're getting together, and there's a guy that just has a bunch of guns, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to sell them guns because I got a bunch laying around, and I'm going to, make some money. Would you be okay if a person did that and those criminals, those people that obtain those weapons, use them against you and your family? What if you had a son or a daughter that got caught in the crossfire of whatever activity they were doing? Or maybe they brought them to school, or maybe they robbed your house. Would you go, well, that guy that was selling those, it's his right. It's his constitutional right. And I'm okay with it because all gun laws are unconstitutional. Or would you say, maybe having that basic minimal barrier to firearms understood. Now, does that mean it would prevent everybody from selling a firearm to those people? No, it doesn't. But if there was no worry of being caught and put to jail, they're going to do it more, or they're more likely going to do it, versus them going, you know what? And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So I'm just curious. What do you think? I say that gun owners need to stop saying all gun laws are unconstitutional. Because, number one, they aren't. Okay? Supreme Court said so, and they're the great arbiter of, what's constitutional. As a society, we have accepted some firearms law, and I believe that rational, reasonable, civil people could say things like firearms in the hands of middle schoolers during school, openly carrying, is probably a bad thing, and we need to have a law against that. Okay? I think that most people would, and we need to stop saying all gun laws are unconstitutional, because the people in the center that we need to come to our side to vote for our rights and to be with us are going to look at people that say all gun laws are unconstitutional as wackos and crazy people, because they can realize that, well, maybe some gun laws are okay. And then they're going to go, the gun community's crazy, they're unhinged, they want anarchy, I'm going to be against them. I have one side that wants to ban all guns, and I got one side that wants absolute anarchy. Well, at that point, when you look at somebody that's uneducated and doesn't know anything about firearms, when they have those two choices, absolute anarchy, all gun laws are unconstitutional, and ban all guns, well, it's two extremes, but one's going to seem more rational to them. So I think as gun owners, we need to stop saying all gun laws are unconstitutional. It's a silly bumper sticker slogan. It's not realistic. It's not real. It's not practical. And we need to stop saying it. So you tell me what you think in the comment section below, and what you think about my thoughts on this. Because, as I said, I think we hurt ourselves when people say these bumper sticker slogans. And there's a whole bunch of them that I can talk about, like, the ATF can't create law. We need to stop saying that one too, but maybe I'll talk about that one in a future video. So, if you made it to the end of this video, let's make the word of the day law. Law is the word of the day. because we're talking about constitutional or unconstitutional gun laws and what do you think is appropriate. So do I ask the right questions? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the nuance? Let's have a debate. Don't call me names in the comment section going, you're a bootlicker. God, jeez. That drives me bonkers. Oh, gosh, that drives me bonkers. But anyway, yeah, let me know. Let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about it. So, as always, thanks for watching.